Whenever I post a video about men and emotion, and I usually trace things back to an over-reliance on anger, I usually get negative responses from men in the comment section saying, are you saying men only feel anger? Is that what you're saying? No, I'm not saying men only feel anger, but I'm saying men over-rely on anger or they totally shut down emotionally. And I had a client the other day, I think he just articulated it in a very insightful way. He said it was like 3, 4, 5, 6 powerful emotions coming at him at once, and it was like system overload. And so his response to feeling that overload was to try to shut down his partner who was bringing up things that was provoking and triggering emotion, and then for him to kind of just go, lights off, shut down, take all those big feelings and go underground with them. And this isn't just that one guy. I've been counseling for 16 years. This is the story I've heard time and time again. And so here's my response to those men and to you. If you ignore the emotion, you're ignoring the need that's tied to the emotion. And you're chronically in this state of deprivation, of needs not being met and fulfilled. And so in order to understand what that need is, you have to first deal with the emotion. I get that it's overwhelming. I get that it's uncomfortable. I get that why you do what you do, where you shut down or you get angry and explode. I totally get all of it. I empathize. I'm not critiquing you, but I'm wanting to coach you. I'm wanting to kind of guide you and say, let's look at that emotion, let's understand it, and then let's see what need is tied to that. And then this is kind of exciting, I think, gets me jazzed up. If we can identify what that need is and figure out effective ways to meet the need in life-giving, positive, constructive ways that preserves your relationships, isn't that a good thing? Don't you want that? So I want to give you a 3 simple step process for identifying what the need is so you don't have to constantly, chronically keep over relying on shutting down or blowing up. Okay, step number 1. I want you to spot the signal. So let's get creative here, and let's try to reverse engineer and trace what the emotion is in response to. The emotion is more like the symptom, it's not the cause. The unmet need is the cause. Okay, so think about it like this. Anger is maybe in response to not feeling respected or feeling like things are unfair or there's been a boundary that's crossed. And so you respond with anger. I think anger is the right response, but if it's not appropriate or proportionate or controlled, it's just going to wreak havoc. How about this? If you're feeling sadness, maybe that's a need for comfort or connection or support, being seen, feeling understood. And so it's like, I'm feeling sad, but why? What need is not being met? And then how do I be more direct with expressing the need? And how do I be more open and honest and vulnerable in seeking others out to meet the need? Okay, let me give you 2 more, or 1 more. So let's say anxiety. So anxiety is like a need for safety and certainty. Maybe you're feeling out of control. And so maybe you need to talk with somebody, express all the problems, lay out all the problems, talk it out, untangle all the issues. Maybe they feel all intertwined. Maybe you need to I kind of think of it as like a ball of twine. If I can untangle that ball of twine, I feel like I can get a better sense of it. I can get my head around it. I can feel like I'm in a position where I can have some control and agency. But I wouldn't know that that's what I need. I wouldn't know the ways I can meet the need, again, if I just stop short of saying, I'm anxious, I don't like it, let me shut it down. So every emotion is a signal that's pointing to a need. All right, step number 2. Let's reverse engineer the frustration. So I want you to ask yourself, what's missing right now that makes me feel this way? Is it a listening ear? Is it feeling shut down by an argument, feeling criticism. So let's say you're having a dispute, you're in an argument, you're trying for conflict resolution. I'm going to put it in a nice way. And this is what I say to my couples all the time when I'm working with them. People tend to get louder and repetitive when they're not feeling heard. Now, you can do this with your partner. If you're noticing your partner getting a little louder, more repetitive, oh, they've said that 2 times now, 3 times now. What's missing is they're not feeling heard. But I want you to notice that in yourself. Am I repeating myself? Have I said this 3 or 4 times and they're just not getting it? Am I getting more and more frustrated? You've got to think about why you're getting frustrated and why you're getting repetitive. And so sometimes it's helpful to step away from the point that you're trying to make and be kind of more metacognitive, which is kind of having an awareness of yourself and the processes that are going on, and say, I'm kind of stuck in a process here of repeating, amping up, and it's because I'm feeling unheard. Let me speak to that. Let me drop the point for a second and then speak to the experience of not feeling heard and understood. So the mini takeaway here is start maybe with what's wrong and then flip it and then address what is the need and then speak to that, right? Hey, I think this conversation would go so much better if I was feeling more heard and understood. You don't have to agree with me, but I want to feel heard and understood, and I think that would help me not get so upset. Okay, number 3, give it words. So sometimes it can help doing like a fill in the blank exercise or complete this sentence. You know, we had to do those like in elementary school, but I want you to do it in application to emotion. So let me give you a starter phrase here. I need ... and then followed by something specific and doable and actionable. So let me give you an example. Instead of you never listen, so that's a critique and an attack, and that's not going to get the message communicated or conveyed to the other person of what you need. Try putting it on yourself. Instead of you, it's I. I need you to let me finish before responding. That's pretty simple, right? Each time I try to explain myself, you cut me off. I need to feel comfortable in this conversation, to feel like we're really working together. I need to be able to finish my point without being interrupted. That's pretty good, right? Okay, so here's the takeaway of that. Needs have to be speakable. You can't just want them, the other person to mind read. So communicate and do it in a descriptive, explanatory way, not a critical way. And I said this in my last video when I was talking about men and identifying emotion. So this one's more about emotional needs. Last one is about identifying. But this is the same advice, but I give it a lot. Consider trying these skills and the 3-step process that I'm suggesting, like spaghetti noodles that you're throwing against the wall. Experiment. Try my ideas. Maybe try some additional ideas that you heard from somebody else. And experiment a little bit. It's okay. Okay, so here's my quick recap. Emotions equal signals. Check 1. Reverse engineer the frustration. Number 2. And then put the needs into words. And then the takeaway here that I keep kind of really insisting on is trial and error is your best friend. Try something on for size. See if it fits. Maybe you just make a slight adjustment. Maybe it landed. Maybe it didn't land it. Keep adjusting. Keep trying. So if you want better relationships and less pent-up frustration, try naming your feelings and try my 3-step process of identifying what is the emotional need underlying the feeling. And as always, if you want more tips and tricks from Dr. Daniel Bates, please like and subscribe and let me know what you think. Maybe my 3-step process, I didn't mention an idea that's really worked for you. Let me know what that is.